All right, we're going to try this again. Kind of a Tales from the Patrol Car kind of a thing, I guess. So here's the deal. The guys at Coastal Auto Reaction, they're huge supporters of all the YouTube car guys. I love them. I mean, these guys go out of their way to go ahead and try and get the smaller channels some attention. And I was reading the other day, I'd seen a post that suggested that car guys or car people tend to relate events in their life to cars or vehicles that they were in or around whenever this event took place. And I can really relate to that. Not even just cars or trucks, motorcycles, aircraft, you name it. The key events in my life, I can always relate back to a certain vehicle or a certain aircraft or whatever. I mean, I'm just mechanically oriented, I guess I go ahead and call it. I figured I'd go ahead and do this today. It's kind of a raw, nasty day here in Oklahoma. It's drizzly, so you're going to go ahead and hear the wipers go from time to time. Call volume's been kind of slack, so here we go. This goes back 40 years. Statute of limitations is up on all of it, so I'm pretty comfortable telling this story. Coastal Auto Reaction guys have a deep, deep fondness for the Dodge Sweptline trucks. And I've got a Dodge Sweptline truck story that goes back to my days in high school. No surprise, well, maybe it is to some folks. Cops were not angels growing up. Not all of them. Okay, we all have a past. We all did stupid stuff, myself included. In high school, you were lucky to go ahead and find me in class most of the time. I did everything I could to stay out of class. I ditched frequently, which probably explains why my high school career lasted 6 years. Yeah, well, 5.5, because I was never in class. Today, they would probably go ahead and label me as ADD or ADHD. There was nothing in high school really that could keep my attention other than cars or vehicles. That's just the way I was wired, I guess. Not making excuses. I did what I did. But let's get on to why I'm here today. So the Dodge Sweptline was up through 1971, I think, if I remember right. I'm not super keen on the Sweptline. I had a 78 W200 Power Wagon. That was the next body style that came out. I think that was 72 model year. But the Sweptline, a buddy of mine had one. Actually, his dad had it. And so he snuck it out one day, my sophomore year of high school. And this thing was like a 68 or a 69. I mean, it had doors that were like 2 feet thick. This was a tank of a truck. It was the D100, two-wheel drive, solid front axle, leaf springs, very, very truck-oriented. 318, manual transmission, granny, I guess like a new process 435, granny 4-speed. It was truly a tank, this dark metallic green. And so he sneaks this thing out one day, and in Arizona, when they go ahead, they put it in housing developments, they clear attractive land. I mean, they blade it smooth. Before they go ahead and figure out how they're going to do it, they lay out their plots, figure out where the lot lines are going to be, figure out which trees or which cactus they want to go ahead and save. They come in, they pluck it up out of the ground, they put it on another part of the property for storage to keep it all alive, and then they come back in when the houses are built, they put it back in the yards as landscaping. Kind of an upgrade, right? So they bulldoze everything smooth and flat. It's amazing. And they'll do 20, 30 houses on a street at a time. These crews get out there and then they just build these houses, and they go to the next street and the next street, and they build 4, 5, 6 houses at once. And while those are being framed up, they'll go ahead, they'll do the forming and the foundation for the next 5, 6, 10, whatever. And so, I mean, it's constantly just houses upon houses upon houses. Anyway, we're ditching class, big surprise. And my buddy's got this D100, and we're driving around, and just maybe 2 blocks from school was this tract of land that had been bulldozed flat. And so we're out there driving in circles, doing donuts, kicking up dust, having a fine time. And he goes shagging ass across this plowed field, or this bulldozed field, and we don't know that there's a drop off at the west end. I mean, it drops 3 foot. It's almost square. I think the bank had maybe like a 60 or a 70 degree bank on it. I mean, it was a sharp drop. And so we're shagging along, and oh crap, here it is, and we go flying off of this thing. And it's flat on the other side too. I guess they did it for drainage or something along those lines. So we're like, oh my gosh, we jumped the truck. Oh my gosh, how cool was that? And so we stop and we get back and we go look, and from the edge where we drove off to where the truck landed, there was like a 10-foot gap. No tire marks, no whatever. And so we're really impressed. Oh my gosh, we jumped the truck 10 feet. Let's go show our friends. And so we go driving around, and we pick up a couple of guys that have clearly smoked their lunch, and we're going to show them. And so we're going to impress these guys. And there's some other dude we pick up. So by the time we get back over there, I'm riding bitch. I'm in the middle. We get back there, and we show the guys. Say, look what we did, man. We jumped like 10 feet. Well, the stoners sitting in the bed of the truck are like, let's go up it. So Frank's like, hell yeah, let's go up it. Okay, there's a brief moment where my survival instinct kicked in. I can picture this in my mind as Frank's catching third gear, headed straight towards this embankment, that the truck is going to lawn dart into the side of the embankment, and the guys in the bed of the truck are going to get catapulted out into the field, and I'm probably going to eat the windshield or go through it. So I've got one hand reaching out into space for the dashboard to brace myself, so I'm going to break my arm too, and I've got the other hand planting me into the bench seat because there's no seat belts. I've got my hand over my head up against the roof of the cab, and we hit this thing. And miraculously, the bank was just enough. The front bumper didn't bite in. The front wheels caught the embankment before the bumper bit, and we went up. When I say we went up. Looking out the windshield, all you could see is sky. And we got some good hang time going, because I remember looking over my shoulder and seeing these 2 guys that were in the bed of the truck who are now astronauts. They're experiencing weightlessness. They've got their hands grabbing on to the underside of the bed rail for dear life as their bodies are like 3 feet over their heads. I mean, their feet are straight up in the air, and their arms, I mean, it's like almost like bull riders, except they got both hands hanging onto this bed rail for dear life. And then I see out the windshield nothing but ground coming up towards us. First it was all sky, now it's all ground. And oh crap, we're going to endo. We hit the ground and we bounce. And after we bounce, there's this horrible grinding sound. I was like, Frank, man, dude, shut the truck off. You put the fan in the radiator, man. We're done. And so we get out, we look, and the guys in the back of the truck are just like, oh, that was the coolest ever. Well, shoot, they're flying. Of course it's cool. You look underneath the front of the truck, and there's liquid pouring out. And it's like, oh, that's it. Yeah, we're done. We busted the radiator. I lived in the town of Cave Creek. At the time, Cave Creek didn't have a high school, so we got bused down to Scottsdale. And so Scottsdale, Arizona to Cave Creek was like 30 miles. And it's end of school. I've got to shag my butt back to campus to catch the bus to go home. And so Frank, hey, sorry, bud, about the truck, but I guess we're gonna have to deal with that one tomorrow because it's not going anywhere. And so we abandon the truck. I shag butt, catch my bus, go home. The next day, Frank goes ahead, borrows Dad's Corvette without Dad's knowledge. We're like 15, okay? Got no business being out there, got no driver's license, but here we are. And so Frank takes the Corvette over there to this construction site that nobody's working on yet. And we open the hood, expecting to see the radiator back in the fan and all sorts of mayhem. No. The battery wasn't secure, and so it fell over into the fan. The fan chewed the corner off the battery. And other than that, everything's fine. That's where all the liquid came from, was battery gas getting slung everywhere. Great. So we get the truck started. I drive the truck back to the house. He drives the Corvette back to the house. I'm ditching my second day now. Or second day in a row I'm ditching. Big surprise. So we kick the truck off at his place, kick the Corvette back off. Actually, I take it back. Ride the Corvette back to school, and I kind of farted around the rest of the day. But the truck suffered no damage other than the battery falling into the fan, and of course the battery acid slinging everywhere because of the fan. But as far as getting airborne goes, dude, 30 feet, no exaggeration, from the edge of the bank to where we landed, there was a 30-foot gap in our tire marks. There's a guy standing out there that was watching us do this because he wasn't going to ride the truck. He said, yeah, man, there's like 10 foot of air. That you guys had 10 foot of air with the hang time. Yeah, okay, entirely possible. So that's my Dodge Sweptline story. These things are tough. They're indestructible. They're tanks. I understand why Coastal Auto Reaction loves these trucks. They are fantastic. Anyway, that's the first stories from the patrol car. You'll have a good one, and we'll catch you later.